Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Guns of Mike's Collection. I'm getting a lot of good responses so far with a lot of cool stories about other people's experiences with buying surplus firearms. I tried to start somewhat at the beginning of my collecting passion, obsession, whatever, and kind of go from there in chronological order. After the first few rifles that I got doing this in my earlier years, I really lost track of what I had gotten because I did a lot of trading and selling to improve my collection. I was trading up and then selling, buying things and flipping them to fund other firearm purchases. And so I don't really know exactly what order I got all the rest of my firearms in. So I'm just going to go from what I remember. It might not be in chronological order. It doesn't really matter in my opinion. Just know that I've had a lot of guns come in and out of my possession because of a lot of trading. It was so much fun back in the day on gun boards and stuff. I know I've talked about that before, but this was also the last time that I went to a gun show and actually got a good, or one of the last times I went to a gun show and actually got a good deal. And we're going to be talking about my K31 today. So, as you can see already immediately, it's in beautiful shape. It was pristine when I bought it, but I had to shoot it, of course. GP11 ammunition was pretty plentiful around that time, and it wasn't super expensive, and it's the best surplus ammo money can buy. That is probably the best surplus money ammo can buy. Yugoslavian M75 8mm sniper ammo is second, or runner-up. Very good ammunition. They're both match-grade ammo, but they're surplus. Again, they're more expensive now, but anyway, we're talking about the rifle here. And yeah, this thing was pristine. So the story behind this one is pretty simple. My buddy and I were at a gun show, local gun show in 2010. I think it was in the spring still, so it's probably April-ish. And I was walking around and there's a bunch of stuff, and I was like, I really don't want that, you know, things that I later on wanted, and they were actually pretty good price then. And I went over to this guy's table. It was way in the back of this. It was like I think it was like a hockey rink or an ice rink that didn't have ice in it at the time, or it was like something like that. It was just a huge building, right, with a huge open space, and there was tables everywhere, just like a typical gun show. And so I went over to this older guy's table, and he had a bunch of K31s sitting on there. And I was like, oh, I've seen these. These look so cool. And I'd never really kind of got the concept of a straight pull bolt. And then, so I obviously saw this one was the nicest one, and they were all priced the same. So, it's got a gouge in the stock. And if I go back in time, it's still not bad for me having this for over 10 years and a couple nicks and dings from moving from place to place and whatever. But yeah, it's still not pristine. But I probably won't get rid of this one either, unless again it's this or the roof over my head. But hopefully we'll never get to that point. And so anyway, we go up to this table, and I was telling my buddy, I'm like, dude, these things are awesome. They're so cool. They've kind of intrigued me, and it was just so foreign, literally and figuratively, to me, the whole concept of this. So the guy had a price tag on this of $270, which at the time was like $20 over retail. Or $30 over retail, something like that. But I was like, this thing is in such nice condition. He's got everything matches, matching magazine and everything, which he almost forgot to give me. He was like, oh wait, yeah, you gotta get you your magazine. What number is that? And I was like, oh, I don't care if it's matching, because I was so excited to just get out of there. He goes, oh, you will care, and he was correct. That's pretty cool. But so it's an all matching rifle. I ran the serial number, and it came out to be a 1953 produced one. So it's a lot later. That's probably why it's in a lot better shape. Probably didn't get used a whole hell of a lot or at all, and this thing is, by the way, like most K31s, an absolute frickin' tack driver. I mean, it is child's play to hit targets at 500 yards with this using GP11 ammo. I've given this to friends when we were up at I don't know how long you guys have been watching my channel. We used to have a farm that we'd go up and shoot at that was about a 960 yard straight thing with a bunch of targets on there. And my friends would stand up and shoot a target at 500 yards at this thing offhand. They weren't the best experienced shooters, and I just said, yep, just line up the sights, bam, ping, you just hear that steel ring, and they're like, wow, that was easy. And they like the straight bolt, because you can pull it back pretty quick. And yeah, I fell in love with this thing. Absolutely adore this rifle, this particular one. I've acquired a few more since then, but this one's going to be retired probably from shooting, because the other ones don't have as nice of stocks on them, and they're in a little bit more used shape. But I think this baby's just going to sit on my wall, unless whatever, because I've actually gone deer hunting with this thing too. I have a video from a couple years ago, I think it was 2016, where I dropped 2 deer pretty quickly and easily with this thing, and put food on my table for that winter. So that was pretty cool. But yeah, so the guy, I paid him, and then he also, I think he gave me a couple boxes of GP11. I think he gave me a couple 10-round boxes, or sold it to me for dirt cheap, because I know we went out and shot this thing rather quickly. And I was like, holy crap, this thing is fucking accurate. I mean, it's a whole new level of accuracy. And most Swiss firearms are like that. Yes, it does have the troop tag underneath, But I just leave that in there. So this was issued to somebody who probably never fired. I think one of my other ones is a troop tag and one of them does not. So yeah, that's a pretty cool thing about K31s and a lot of Swiss firearms. I think my Infantry Gewehr 11 has a troop tag as well. Well, I'll do that in another video and I'll let you know. So yeah, it's 1953 production, rather late, but still just absolutely in beautiful shape. I just cannot get over how good this stock looks. It's one of my most prettiest rifles. I know all you grammar freaks out there like me are going, oh, it's like nails on a chalkboard. I agree. Anyway, so this will be a rather short video. I'm trying to think of if there's another story I have with this. Oh, this actually prompted my friend after, because he ended up getting, what the hell did he get that day? His brother got a, one of those, it was like, God, what was it? It was a 5.45 chambered AK, but I think it was a Wasser or something. It was a weird one. It wasn't like an AK-74, like a Bulgarian parts kit or something. And then he got a bunch of East German Bakelite mags, which I have a few of those because we traded. And I'm really glad I still have those. But yeah, so my friend's brother was with us and he ended up getting the AK with a bunch of those East German mags for really cheap. I think he paid like $400 for everything all said and done. He got like 12 magazines in that rifle, and then the guy threw in some 5.45, 7, and 6 ammo. So that was cool. I don't know if my buddy actually bought anything at that show. I think maybe he bought a pistol or something. I don't know. I actually don't remember. But anyway, later on, we were at like a Cabela's or something in Minnesota, and because my buddy liked this so much, and they got really hard to find around that time. They got really very popular, and only small batches were coming into the country. And so we were down at a Cabela's, and they actually had one there for I think like $280 or something like that. It was in less good condition, but he didn't care because he was like, I don't like shooting that one either because it's so pretty. And he felt scared like I did. Every time you shoot it, you're going to make it, less pretty, which it did. But again, we don't have to go over that again. So he got one that had more dinged up stock and everything, and he's a lefty as well, so he shoots left-handed, and he loves the straight pull because it's just really easy for him to just pop it back. And the one thing we both gripe about is when you're prone, and if you ever shot a K31 prone, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. So these rounds eject up and back. So if you're standing up, it just goes behind you. They go straight up and back. It's really kind of cool. If you're laying prone, probably want to be wearing something like this that's a little bit thicker, because if you're wearing a t-shirt on a hot day, yeah, you'll realize really quick that the brass is very hot. Because yeah, we'd go pop, and then rack this back, and it'd go straight up right into your back, and it's a pretty heavy brass casing, and it's wide, so it doesn't really roll that easily. So it'll just sit there and kind of burn your back. But that's the only real gripe about this rifle, and it does have a pretty stout recoil. It is a carbine, so it's very short for the round that it shoots. Like this is a 23-inch barrel, I think. And on the Infantry Gewehr 11 and the 9611s, it's a 30.7-inch barrel. So quite a substantial difference, almost 10 inches that you lose, because those other ones don't really recoil that much. But this thing, it's got a pretty stout recoil to it. It's a nice pop, but it's not intolerable or anything. It's better than an M44 Mosin Nagant or a Chinese Type 53 or a Steyr M95 carbine like that. That's probably the worst one. That and the Berthier carbines are probably the most egregious for recoil. And the number 5 jungle carbines are not fun either. But this one, I'd say it's like a K98 basically. That's what it recoils like. So again, not intolerable, but you can feel it after you've shot it all day. So yeah, that's a story that I've got on this gun, and I love this thing. I love all K31s, but this one particularly I love a lot because it's just so nice, and it was my first one ever. And it's one of the more original rifles in my collection. I got this in 2010, which is when I really started going ape shit and went balls to the wall and started just buying every possible surplus thing. And I happened to like this one, so it never got traded. And these things got super expensive really quick. They went up to $400, $450 within a couple years after I got this. So this is stayed in my collection, and it probably will remain in my collection from hither on out. So that's all I've got for that one. If you guys like this series, this video, and all the rest of my work, you could consider supporting my work by becoming a Patreon supporter or a YouTube channel member. Either method of support, $5 a month or more, gets you into my Discord server, which is fun. And on the Patreon, though, there is a perk to being a patron. $5 a month or more on there gets you exclusive access to 4 podcasts, or 2 to 4, depending on the level that you choose. Exclusive podcasts that will not be released to the public. And I've got a bunch on there already, so if you go there, you can go and binge them. They're pretty fun. I talk about pretty spicy topics, and it's kind of long-form rambling and ranting, like a lot of you love and have been requesting for years. So yeah, if you want to do that, that would be great. Other than that, thank you so much for watching, everybody. I really appreciate it, and we'll see you on the next episode of the Guns of Mike's Collection.